put you right here. Where's my drink? My drink ready. Let's freaking go. We are here on a beautiful night here in Oklahoma, home of the Oklahoma Sooners. And it's been an interesting day so far. Let's hope it gets a lot better. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Like I said, the Alex poll has been made. Plus, I also do have my Week 10 predictions ready to go. We're also going to be talking about the Week 9 recap fully. So I'm going to fully talk about that since I did it. I was able to do most of it Friday. I wasn't able to do it Friday because of Halloween, and it wasn't meant to be done Friday. So instead, we are going to be doing that. Sorry, it was meant to be done today. Not today. It was meant to be done. Yeah, Friday. So Friday, but it's Halloween, so I had to do my live stream obviously. But then I had to. So it was just a mess. But we are back. We're gonna keep this show going. We have this week to take care of. So let's get to it. Also, I wanted to point out real quick. I heard the news. Dabo Sweeney looks like he might be on the chopping block next after some choice words from him. We'll get in. We won't talk about that today because we've got a lot to do. We are here, jam packed. Of course, let me name myself. I'm Alex McKinney. I'm your host of this beautiful show, the Alex Football Show. We cover all sports, the NFL, from the highest of the NFL to the lowest of the high school. Speaking of high school, we're going to go straight to high school because in this book, some changes happened. First off, to recap, it was a awesome weekend, and I heard some games happened on Friday in terms of high school. I'll get around to that. We also have, of course, like I said, the Week 10. We have the entire Week 9 recaps, plus the Week 10 predictions and the Alex poll. The Alex poll will be probably later on. Let's get to it. Okay, so let me pull up. So okay, so start off. I'm going to just say right now, no upsets happened in Friday. There was no upset at all, and so I'm not really going to go into depth into these games, but I will say we do have the official. Well, I do have the playoff ready to go, and when we do that show, when I think we're doing that, let me give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. I think we're doing that this Thursday. I would keep an eye on that. Right after our look at the official college football playoff prediction from the committee itself. It's gonna be interesting to do that. I might make a video on that, but we have to do this. So nothing really happened. So everything sort of stayed the same. And I wanted to quickly go over that. We now know we know the first round buys for the high school playoffs. So number one, the first buy goes to Bixby. Second buy will go to Jinx. Third spot goes to BA, and the fourth is Owasso. However, they'll be flipped because since Bixby can't play, since Bixby will have to come over to our conference to play us again for the semifinals. That means it'll be Owasso and Jinx versus NBA versus Bixby in the semifinals. So that's the semifinals, and then we'll see what happens with the quarterfinals as we get to the last games of the season for each team. We're going to see where they end up, and that'll determine. We'll also go over the official bracket itself, got some minor nitpicks for that, and then we'll officially see who will be playing who in the quarterfinals, and subsequently to face off against Bixby, BA, Owasso, or Jinx in the semifinals. Whoever wins up there will go to the finals, and from there we will crown a champ of 2025. Arguably, it has been one of the funnest seasons to cover since starting this channel not too long ago. Anyways, that was the high school recap. Nothing really happened. BA got the win. Union got win. They don't matter. Bixby got a win. Owasso won. Jinx won. Everyone that should have won the game. Some of them were close, some of them were lost, but not really anything But I know what you guys are here for. Saturday. That's right. Last Saturday in the college football world, a lot shook up. I'm not even kidding. A lot happened on Saturday. We'll get into all of that in just a moment, but real quick, I want to say, if you haven't already, make sure you went down below and like and subscribe. Please, it helps out the channel a lot. Make sure you ring the bell. It's a free show. We do no sponsors, no nothing. It is free all day. Football, whatever, we're here. Anyways, make sure you like and subscribe. Back to the video. Yeah, I know, shameless plug, and I know I just did a little segment like that, but we have to get more stuff in. Real quick, let me just, right now, we're gonna wait. So, oops, wrong. Josh P, you're welcome. So, let's start off with the Friday games. Well, no, never mind. We'll not. We'll start off. Well, I wish we'll start. Oh, whatever. I've skipped around it. We'll start off Thursday and we'll go to Friday and Saturday. Thursday we had the first upset of the week, which was Tulane getting shut out by UTEP, basically ending Tulane's season. So now we have, well, South Florida, I don't know, but for right now, let's just hypothetically say we have two Power 5 two group of 5 teams eliminated. Tulane and South Florida. And there'll probably be a lot more to come. And Navy's on the brink, but they might be able to bounce back. We'll see. But anyways, we know those two right now are sort of confirmed. Tulane's definitely confirmed. Anyways, besides that, let's move over to the Friday games, which nothing happened. Memphis destroyed literal food. Move on. We had not one, not two, not three, not four, but 6 awesome games on Saturday. And the SEC was shaking up, not a lot, but a lot to make people catch an eye. We'll go over that in just a moment. But first, let's start in the Big Ten. Yeah. I wish I had a graphic up, but I don't have I'm not ready for that yet. I don't have that yet up, but yeah. I don't see anything wrong with the Big Ten. Let's see. Ohio State blew out Penn State. Writings on the wall. Let's see. Indiana just absolutely ruined the day of Was it UCLA they played? I don't know. Maybe UCLA. Whatever, they beat the crap out of their opponent. Oregon, Michigan. I'm concerned, but not really nothing much. The Big 12, nothing. Yeah, BYU, they came up and win. Texas Tech won. Everything normal there. And the ACC is where the ACC and SEC were the two conferences that were actually shaken up the most. So we'll get to the SEC, but let's go ahead and step forth into the world of the ACC. And now I can pop this. I'll pull up this. I'm going to read this out, and I want you to tell me who the team is. You go neck and neck in the first 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, you allow a comeback by a lower team to force overtime and subsequently win after you fail to get into the end zone for points. And then on the ensuing drive, this team gets a touchdown and ends the game. Gee, I wonder who that was. Miami. That's right, Miami and SMU. Woo! Under the rug with Miami. Pulled a little Tom and Jerry. Let's talk about it. Miami heading into the game was a favorite. Don't think they were that big of a favorite, but they were a favorite, and they somehow lost to SMU. And this is Miami football. They start off really good, and then they collapse somewhat into the late season, and it's just impossible. I don't know. Someone get a chart of how many times they've done that because it's so long. They're not back. we were going to say that we can't wait to see these two play against, let's say, Ohio State and Miami. It's going to be an awesome game. Looking at it now, I don't think it's going to be close. If you're wanting a more complete team, it was Miami at some point, and then Louisville came in and disrupted all that and shook them up, and that's probably what did it in this game is they were shaken up after Louisville, and then in came Ohio State, just a complete team all around. There's actually no weaknesses you can exploit. So, hey, ball's in their court. They still have to run it. Speaking of running it, Georgia Tech. It was about time they finally lost. I don't know if they wanted to lose this way. Woo-wee. They lost big time. To save me the grace of making them a Sarah McLachlan special, they don't deserve it. There's another team that will get the Sarah McLachlan special. It's a quote from Josh Pate, and I'm sure you can guess whose team that is. But first, we're just going to say this game shouldn't have gone the way it did. Georgia Tech coming off of a schedule that seemed to be in their favor, and then they lose this game, which if I pull it up, let's pull it up real quick. Well, you can see it here for yourself. We'll pull it up. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Let's see. Also, this is week 10, by the way. So we went from week 9 in high school to week 10. And my bad. I forgot to point that out. So let me scroll down. Oh, it was in Maryland. They beat up at Maryland. Yeah. But here's where it got interesting. Look at this. NC State. That's who they lost to. That was not the way you wanted to lose to NC State. 36-48 was just If you want to go up against Ohio State and these other big dogs, you're gonna have to not throw stuff like this at the wall because this is gonna really hurt. So now you are in Death Valley right now. Another loss here. Basically, you're not out, but you're probably gonna look in from. You're gonna be out, but looking in. That's all I gotta say. I wanted to get to this game because I'm so mad about it. But as an Oklahoma fan, I will not say anything other than Texas might be back. You can probably tell what game I'm referring to. Vanderbilt. It was damn time they lost. I said it wasn't going to happen. They were going to run a table. They were going to be undefeated. And sorry, they weren't going to be in. They were going to run the table. They were going to. Their only loss would be Alabama. They would smoke everyone else. And if there's one thing you can't underestimate, it's the power of Steve Sarkisian's mind. Because when he has the ball in his court, he will outplay you like a fiddle. It wasn't even. The final score does not do it justice. This game was Texas through from start to finish with Diego Pavia and Mount. Give credit to where his credit's due. They mounted a near perfect comeback. If it wasn't for that outside kick, which I don't know. It's just then we'll just move on. But it was very weird of a game in general. But Arch Manning, can I blame him? He had his best game all year. I mean, all season. Even better than the one against Oklahoma, and they blew out Oklahoma. Don't worry, we'll get to Oklahoma in a minute. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to talk about this game. It's just one of those games where it's a Texas game when you allow the team to come back from 21 to 7. That's how you know it's a Texas game is when that happens. But they were managed to hold on, and although Vanderbilt mounted the comeback, they were able to hold on. All right, what if I told you something? What if I told you we had almost an upset twice? We had one upset against Vanderbilt, and now we would have had two. Who would have that been? Would would you have said Ole Miss or South Carolina? Would it be Notre Dame and not Notre Dame? Wouldn't it have been Oklahoma and Tennessee, Texas Tech and Kansas State? Would it have been Virginia and California, Louisville? Nope. Florida and Georgia. 24-20. Look, man, I'm going to say it right now. If Georgia's going to make it back, and the only way to do that is to kill off the head of the snake, they're going to kill Texas next week. And I don't think they're going to be stopped. They're one of those teams that you just can't put. You have to. Okay, to quote Josh Pate, you have to cut the head of the snake off. And until you do that, Georgia's going to find a way to come back because they know how to win when they're down by 50 or whatever. They know how to win on the back foot. South Carolina, Ole Miss, good game. Although since Lenore Sellers needs to just be on life support dues, running like a fucking deer in the headlight. I don't really care about Notre Dame. Could have done better, but they still handled business. Texas Tech handled business. We're going to get to the Oklahoma game in a minute. I'm going to save that one for last. Virginia and California, again, your stereotypical trap game, but they didn't fall for it. Virginia didn't fall for it. And then Louisville. This game is also considered a trap game for Louisville. They survived 20-16. Arguably, the biggest upset of the week was obviously Utah and Cincinnati, and Utah blew the crap out of Cincinnati. So, AP voters, maybe they were right to put them at 17, put Cincinnati at 17, and maybe Utah will give them a huge win under their belt. Cincinnati will take a drop, and we might be seeing the end of Cincinnati's run because this shakes up a lot in the Big 12. And Cincinnati now falls behind BYU and Texas Tech in the playoffs race. So we'll see how that affects it. Michigan and Purdue, like I said, just Michigan I'm concerned about, but I think they're not gonna win against Ohio State. If they put up this much against Purdue, and if Purdue put up this much against Michigan, they're not gonna beat Ohio State. West Virginia, Houston, yeah. I mean, this game was a sneaky one if you were paying attention. This was a game that. This game was an upset, but no one's really talking about it because it's West Virginia. But West Virginia pulled off the upset, unranked, beating 22 Houston. And then Nebraska losing to USC by, was it 5? That's stereotypical Nebraska, and we'll get to the Tennessee bit too, but they were all blacked out, and they blacked themselves out. We have a quick break. I'm going to quick snack break, so... All right, we are back. I just had to take a quick snack break. Eating some cheesy puffs here. So, let's go ahead and talk about the big game. The big game that everyone was looking at was number 18 Oklahoma and number 14 Tennessee. Win, and you're in. So basically, this was a must-win game for both teams. One of these teams would be eliminated. This game was going to be deciding who would be eliminated from the playoff. Just so happened to be Tennessee. John Mateer looks like something's going on with those legs of his because maybe he realized he can run the ball more than he can throw it. Who could have guessed that, Albert Einstein? You have a broken throwing arm. Why don't you just run the ball because you're a dual threat quarterback? Somebody shows he's a dual threat quarterback. Oklahoma winning on the run game, and look what happened. I told you. I told you guys, if Oklahoma they get that run game established, they can do some stuff. They can make you feel difficult and uncomfortable. But we'll see. Their biggest test is next week against Alabama. And if I swear to God, next week, because this Saturday LSU and Alabama play. We're going to get into that just today as well. But next week, next Saturday, Oklahoma and Alabama. If Oklahoma wins against Alabama, they deserve to be in the playoffs. If they lose, that is fine. They can split Alabama and then win against Missouri. They have a broken quarterback. They're demoralized after that. And then LSU, who's not even a quality team, Oklahoma should just run all over them. I mean, if A&M can run all over them with just the run game alone, Oklahoma will have no issue. So it'll be interesting down the stretch, but basically Oklahoma if they somehow beat Alabama, they're going to get into playoffs. Because then not only even if they lose to LSU or Missouri, they beat the number one team in the SEC currently, in my opinion, even though A&M's I think they're the number one just by talent wise and record wise. That would be huge, and that would be something the committee would take into an effect when they go into playoff committee selection on tomorrow. So we'll see what the committee does tomorrow, but it's going to change. So just because you see it tonight does not mean it's going to be final. It's going to change when we get to the actual committee selection Sunday come January. So it'll be interesting, but don't forget, December is the year of our Lord and Savior 2025, which will be the bowl games that'll take place throughout all December, and then we'll get the New Year's Six bowls. That'll be awesome. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'm trying to look at the camera a bit more, but I kind of want to do this, So anyways, you get the idea. Oklahoma, congratulations, you're still in, and maybe they have hope. But they're going to be battle tested. So if they beat Alabama, they will be battle tested to face maybe any other team in the SEC and in Big Ten. Not Big 10, Big 12. So that'll be interesting. Anyways, that's what happened in there. We'll get to the NFL in just a second, but there's kind of your recap of week 10 for college football, and we'll get to week 10 NFL here in just a moment. I might actually not do that tonight just because I need to wait for the Cowboys and the Cardinals to play. But I'm going to do special thing. I'll do 4 games that stood out to me, and then we'll move on to what you guys probably came here for, which is the updated Alex poll, which I don't have printed out at the moment. I will later on, and I'll make a video about it. But I do have it in my book, and I'll read it off. But for right now, we're going to pull up the 4 games that I think deserve to be credited tonight. So Sunday, actually, we'll make it 5. So Chicago and Cincinnati, we'll talk about. Minnesota and Detroit, Carolina and Green Bay, Indianapolis and Pittsburgh, and then Kansas City and Buffalo. Those will be the teams we will talk about, and then the rest I will cover in a separate video when I do after the matchup between Arizona and Dallas. So let's talk about the Bears and the Bengals. So this game was a surprisingly good, very awesome, entertaining game from a viewing standpoint. Back and forth. Caleb pulls out away, and then Cincinnati fights back, and eventually it came down to 2 insane, just 57-second plays. Cincinnati comes back, ties the game up, and now it's it's 42-42. Sorry, 40. I think it's 40. Yeah, 42-41. And so 42-42. Cincinnati might go into overtime, so the Chicago Bears, they could do anything they want. They can take it down as far as they want to try to get a field goal and win it, or they can take a knee and go to overtime. And what does Caleb Williams do? He does what Caleb Williams does throughout this entire season. He makes the biggest plays in the biggest moments. He throws a beautiful dime and to his receiver, and it's caught, and that's how the game ended with a Bears touchdown. 47-22 was the final score. And you know what? Just the Pope, he blessed the Bears once again. And sorry, Vikings fans, you're going to have to just get through tonight, and we'll just get through the week and just keep head high. Minnesota upsets the Detroit Lions in a game who I figured I might have actually predicted, because I said this would be a close game, but I picked Detroit to win. Clap it up. Minnesota, hurt, destroyed, demoralized. What does J.J. McCarthy do? He walks out onto the field like a methodic David, and then he punches Goliath in the face and then never looks back. And this is this is going to be the Minnesota team we know, the resilient team that will fight into the bitter end, and they don't care what the narrative says. They will fight and fight to the very end. So good luck finishing out the season, though. You still got 3 other ranked opponents to take care of. Detroit, whatever, bounce back. They're going to bounce back. Same with Green Bay and Carolina. I'm just going to say you lose to the Panthers. It's not that. I don't know. This season is whatever happens. I mean, at this point, the Dallas could go by 40-13. It could be 40-0 at the half, and Dallas is up by 40 against the Cardinals. That's what we've come to know. It's you don't expect an outcome. It's not going to happen. Same thing here. And honestly, you know what? We'll just chalk it up to another chaotic week and continue on. Indianapolis, Pittsburgh. Now, this game should be no excuse. Indianapolis, 6 turnovers. You know what? You're not going to win that game. We're just going to say Pittsburgh did what Pittsburgh does backs against the wall. They played their hearts out like they're a pounding wall. And then Buffalo and Kansas, the game I was nervous about. I shouldn't have been worried because Buffalo controlled the game, even though the score doesn't look like that. The score says otherwise. It was a dominant game. The Bills destroyed the Chiefs entirely, and Mahomes just did not have a good game. I think they're going to win over the postseason and get over that hump. And then, of course, we are the Cleveland Browns. They got to buy. New York got to buy, or the down with the Earth Falcons got to buy. Philadelphia got to buy. Tampa got to buy. The buy is needed for Tampa Bay because of their entire receiver core screwed up. So there you go. There's all your week 10 stuff. And if it said week 10 prediction, that's meant to be changed to week 11. We'll get to week 11 here in just a moment. But first, I wanted to point out I do have the Alex poll ready. We're going to do that after. We're going to go ahead and move through each section of high school and at college in the NFL, and we'll go from there. First off, there is actually, I think, only 3 ranked games this time, if I recall. I'm going to pull that up. I think there is only 3 ranked teams this time. I will pull that up real quick and see for myself. I won't show you guys, but I'm just going to pull it up myself. But I think there's only, 3 ranked teams this Friday? We'll go Oklahoma class 6-1A. So yeah, Edmond Memorial and Edmond North and Jinx. Nah, we're just gonna say Jinx wins that by a mile. Union and Edmond Memorial. Interesting. We'll just say Edmond Memorial. Edmond Memorial's gonna win. We beat Union. We're gonna win that. They're gonna win that by a lot. So then we have Friday. So yeah, Friday we only have we only have 5 ranked games. So not as much as last time. We have number 1 Bixby at number 7. I swear to God, Bixby. If Bixby somehow they're not going to lose this game. Let's just the model has Bixby going up by 30. I'm going up by 40. We're on the same page. We'll just move on. Moore and Ednan, doesn't matter. Norman, North, and Santa Fe doesn't really matter that much in the long run. They're not making it. And then Broken Arrow was more. If Broken Arrow is just going to go we're just going to go here. We're going to send in our starters. Go 30. Let's go 40-0. Okay, now starters, you can come out. Backups, just go in and get some in. Go seniors, go sophomores, and all. Go get some playtime in. And even if they try to mount a comeback, we'll have a bigger lead. That's how it's going to go. I'm going to predict it right now. The model has them winning by 100. I have them winning by 50. They're 0-8. They're 0-9. But again, this game, is a kind of a trap game because it backs against the wall. But BA is just, there's no way BA fumbles the back. And I'll be sure if they lose, then they're going to be clown of the week. For right now, though, we'll just say BA wins. Moving on. Deer Creek and Mustang. Give me Mustang in that one. And, ooh, interesting. Oh, Wasso and Yukon. Yukon's not looking too bad. Give me a Wasso, though. Again, like I said, we already know who the final are going to be. Next. Go ahead and pull up my favorite stats. Let's go ahead and talk about the college football. Again, there's not going to be much in week 11 for high school, but college, yes, there is. We got some Ooh, I can't wait. I'm so jittery. I'm so excited. Might take another snack break. We're going to do this the professional way. It's week 11. Now, there's 2 trap games here that I want to point out. There's 2 trap games here. We're going to get a double trap game on Friday. So, Friday, November 7th, keep an eye on Northwestern and UCS. That game, Northwestern's not looking too bad. And UCS, I know they had a big win against Nebraska, but Northwestern beat Nebraska, need I remind you. So, we'll see. Y'all keep an eye on that game. Here's another game to keep an eye on. Like I said, there's 2 trap games. Tulane and Memphis. Now, if Tulane beats Memphis, suddenly there's a potential here where Tulane can backdoor themselves with Navy. So I'll keep an eye on those 2 games come Friday because these games are going to be interesting. And this is gonna hurt to cover this game at the recap. I'm gonna close this for a second, my little snack. Oh. You know that meme where it's like, stop it, he's already dead. Ugh. If you think Ohio State was bad, wait until Penn State plays Indiana. If Indiana, I swear to God, Indiana might put up 100 on them. If Indiana can put 100 on them, I will not be surprised. Penn State, just pray to God that you come out with at least no injuries. I love you, my brother. I love you, Penn State up north. Good luck, because if you want to know a game where, let me go. This is a big story. We're going to talk about this story. So Penn State, preseason winner, up there with Ohio State. Preseason ranked. And what do? I'm going to make sure you guys can see me. They lose to fucking UCLA in that game. So, actually, no, they lose to Oregon. And then Oregon will get credit because they killed Penn State. They ended the season of Penn State in that game. Because then they lost to UCLA. They lost to Northwestern. They lost bad against Ohio State. And Ohio State beat them further. And every time they just kept getting beat further and further and further. And now they're a sad, sucky little toy. Just, they're not going to be played with. They're just on the basement floor in the garbage can. And Indiana is going to seal the garbage can and essentially put the nail in the coffin for Penn State. They're not going to make a bowl. Indiana is going to make sure of that. Give me Indiana. And by the way, Tulane and Memphis, give me Tulane, that one bounce back, and UCS to cover for that. Give me against Northwestern. Other than that, give me Indiana by 50. Give me them by whatever. Give me them by 2 million. Give me 2 million with Indiana. Georgia, Mississippi State. Look, I'm going to say it right now, real quick. I need to fix that real quick. That fixed. Why is that now? Now the phone one. Alright, now it's one word. We're gonna go with it. Anyhow, like this. We're gonna have to make this quick because I gotta go do something. I just got a notification from someone from Emily, so I'm gonna have to make this quick. So let's go through this. We're gonna speed fire this. Ready? Georgia, Mississippi State. Give me Georgia. BYU. Big game. I'm gonna get BYU. They're gonna do it. Ohio State. Give me million by million. Ole Miss, a million. Texas A&M, give me them. Oregon, give me Oregon. Miami, give me Syracuse. Vanderbilt, give me Vanderbilt over Auburn. Washington over Wisconsin, give me Washington. Wake Forest, Virginia, give me Wake Forest. Give me Virginia. Louisville, give me Louisville over California. Alabama, give me Alabama. Give me LSU versus over Alabama, and Navy Notre Dame. Give me Navy making the ultimate upset and ending the hopes of the entirety of Notre Dame. The NFL, we're gonna do those. We're gonna do those real quick. We'll actually do that next week. We'll do that tomorrow. Quickly, the Alex poll is out. I'm gonna go ahead and read it off real quick, and then I'm gonna go and say goodbye. Sorry, this is a bit short, but I gotta make it quick. So, here we go. So, the first 25 is okay. First three. So the top 25 I have in here is Memphis at number 25. I have. All right. I have Michigan at 24, USC at 23. I have Virginia. No, I have Georgia Tech. Sorry, not Georgia Tech. I have Virginia. No, you know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm gonna running. Yeah. And you know what? So if I go back to my original poll that I had real quick, that really didn't change. So that really didn't change. If I could pull it up. Have it somewhere. Oh, come on. I'm coming. Where's my... Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna